Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and it is Septandy once again. And this year, I'm going to be restoring and taking a look at this, the Tandy 1000HX. Yeah, I'm really excited to get to cracking this thing open, because hopefully if this thing works, I'll finally have a fully working, true Tandy 1000. Let's just open this box up, see what's in here, see the condition it's in, and get to work. And this is what we're going to be taking a look at today in a very faded old box. The Tandy 1000HX personal computer. And here's its matching 5 1/4 360K disk drive. On the side here, it has all the included stuff: a simple word processor, filing system, spreadsheet, paint program, music program, calendar agenda, and online communications. We have some damage here. It's a little faded, but that's okay. It's ideal for entertainment, education, and productivity. PC compatible with 256K of RAM. MS-DOS built in for fast loading, we'll get to that later. Built-in 3.5 720K disk drive, and it's expandable disk drive, modem, and more. Ooh. Alright, let's get it out of the box. Yeah, you can see it's a little yellow here in the box. Oh, we have a piece of paper. And this is the owner's manual for the external disk drive, which is interesting. It says EX, but that's almost the same computer anyway. This is some really weird foam. And here it is in its very disgusting, dirty glory. You can see how yellow the keys are and how just overwhelmingly dirty this thing is. And here's the better look at the keyboard. You can kind of see how yellow it is. And we have, and here we have the travel protector for the 3.5-inch drive. And you can compare it, it's very yellow. Ooh, this is a very nice keyboard. On the side here with the joystick port, headphone port, and volume wheel. On the back we have the printer port, external disk drive port, composite video, RGB video, some expansions, and a built-in power supply with permanently attached cable, which is kind of annoying, but I can kind of see why. And the power switch. Not as good as the IBM's, but yeah, it's fine. Alright, let's take this top cover off to expose the expansions, and you can kind of see the original color is supposed to be, and yeah, this is very, very dirty. All right, get the expansions out. First, the blank block-off plate. Next is this first card. And here we have a basic serial card. I'll talk about this here in a little bit later, but it's just a simple port, DB25. And here is another card. I'll talk about this later in a little bit, but this is the RAM card. There's 2 hidden screws underneath those. And as you can see from the screws here, there's no little feet on the bottom of this computer. They're long gone. And the residue is stuck there, almost like it's stained in, like somebody's tried to super glue it or something and it just reacted with the plastic. Because it's very, very nasty. I don't know if you can see it, but there is an embossed section next to the screws. Those are actually for what screws go where. If they fit in the embossed section, that's where the screw is supposed to go. So far, this thing's actually pretty easy to tear apart. About as easy as the Coco 2 I did a couple months ago. Oh, this fell out. Not sure what it's from, but just a little bitty square piece of metal. Maybe from the floppy drive, I guess? By the way, I hate these ribbon cables. Not a whole lot going on here, just a single disk drive and a keyboard. Looks like there's some sort of felt or something underneath the keys. We'll have to get that off when I get the keys off. Would help if I would take the screws out first. And time to release the tabs on the hold downs for these ribbon cables. These are kind of weird. You almost have to pry them up, and it looks like one right here was a little broken. I didn't get a shot of it, but I think somebody's been in here before, which might explain something I find later. Unplug the LEDs. And there we go, one very dirty keyboard. It's not as bad as it could have been, though. I've seen worse. Alright, time to get this thing torn apart. And here we have a little lock. So I wasn't quite sure what this was at first, but then I realized this kind of slides out of a little slot to lock the computer to a desk. I mean, I guess with it being basically an all-in-one, it wouldn't be too bad. And here's the first indication we had a problem. This standoff screw came out just fine. But the one next to it that you saw me fiddling with before, I thought it looked loose, and it kind of is. Alright, here's a shot of the very nasty upper shell. There's some grime in the badge, baked in dirt. Looks like something was on top of the computer here. So let's spray some Simple Green. My idea was I wanted to clean this thing up and get all the dirt and stuff off before I tried to retro bright it because I assumed it was yellowed. I quickly found out, much like the Coco 2 that I restored a while ago, no, this thing actually wasn't yellowed. It was just so dirty with caked in dirt embedded in the plastic that you can see it here. There's a big, huge contrast even here. And that's just with a single wipe of Simple Green. Look at this. And as you can see, there's a contrast between what I scrubbed and what I didn't. This is actually pretty neat. It's not yellowed at all. It's just stuck ground in dirt, which I think is actually a little more disgusting than it being yellowed. Alright, time for the other side. And I decided to really work on that badge because it was almost faded. After a good scrubbing, let's compare it with the untouched cover piece here, and oh god, you can just see how nasty this was. But that badge turned out really good. It looks brand new. Alright, might as well clean this up real quick. Just a real quick scrub to get it to match the rest of it. I was actually surprised that none of this was yellowed, besides the keys, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure what this was used for, but it's kind of like it wasn't used too much because it didn't get UV exposure, but the keys did, which is weird. Okay, so I can't take it apart beyond this point. That's because this screw here is loose, but as you can see, it's completely broken. So I can't take this apart any further than what I already have for restoration. So, well, we're just going to clean it as best we can then. So I can't really service the floppy drive, so we're just going to have to hope and pray it works. So that's just, well, begin reassembly. Okay, well, since I can't take it all the way apart, I decided to just clean up the inside as much as I could with some Simple Green to get rid of the dust bunnies. There wasn't too much in here, which was surprising. I think this thing was either very well taken care of, or in a clean environment, or it just wasn't used too much, which is kind of surprising. Anyway, let's clean the floppy face. And since I couldn't take the drive out to service it, I decided to just clean it in situ, which, you know, it turned out really good. It's tiny bit yellowed, I think, but it might just be a plastic difference, so I'm not too concerned about it. Alright, let's clean up the cable. This is something that needs to be done when you restore stuff. There's so many people that just neglect cables, and yeah, it wasn't too bad. Time to scrub the back. And it too just wiped away, and it looks fantastic up close and in person. Time to take off the keys. And I'll admit, I still don't have a key puller. I just have not had a chance to get one. And I really could have used one here because I was taking these keys off way wrong, and you'll see why in a second. I decided to grab my phone and take some up-close shots of the keyboard for, well, know how to put it together correctly, and also to show how dirty it was. And here's the video and pictures. You can see that's where I screwed up. I didn't actually take the key off. I took the key cap off the plunger. But as you can see, this thing is very dirty and very yellowed. And on a hunch, I decided to clean the keys individually with Simple Green, thinking maybe they were just dirty too, with just, you know, nasty fingerprint grime. But nope, that wasn't the case. They were yellowed. And as you can see, I kept taking the keys off wrong. I thought this was normal because I didn't know how Tandy built the keyboard. But yeah, I fought for way too long trying to get these keys off before I realized, hey, I'm taking off the key caps instead of just the plungers. And it was actually when I took a key off with the plunger, I thought I actually broke it, and I actually swore a little bit. And here you can see that, yeah, I was taking the keys off a lot faster and a lot better once I figured out the plunger thing. I seriously need to get a key puller. Eventually I'm going to accidentally break a stock on a keyboard that's going to be a pain in the butt to repair. It's actually a very interesting design. I'm not quite sure exactly what kind of design you would call this, but yeah, it's a membrane style keyboard. It's not mechanical. And the weird part is I can't take the bar off for the space bar. It's actually integrated into the keyboard, which is, again, kind of different from most 80s keyboards I've ever torn apart. And time to start the arduous process of scrubbing every single key. I just put on some music with my phone and just got to scrubbing. None of them looked less yellowed when I got done, but yeah, you can see how nasty they were either way. Right after I got done putting them into some retro bright solution, I decided to reassemble the computer as best I could without the keys. I was doing very carefully to not break anything else. I couldn't, like I said before, I couldn't tear it apart much further beyond this point, which kind of sucked, but oh well. And I spent way too much time trying to reattach these ribbon cables. And time for the top cover, which this thing looks fantastic, even as it sits right now. And yeah, I already tried getting all that residue off with even rubbing alcohol, and it just wouldn't touch them. I'm not sure what happened to these little foot pads, and I didn't get a chance to replace them yet, but some sort of adhesive really almost like melted or burnt into the plastic. It was really strange. I decided to try it again to see if I can get some more off, and even though I got a little bit more off, it wasn't enough to completely get it gone. I'll have to just keep chipping away at it over time. And look at that, one fully cleaned up Tandy 1000. Almost, just need the keys put back on. That badge looks great. And the back turned out fantastic as well, as you can clearly see. While the keys were retro brighting, I decided I was going to tackle this monitor. I was going to clean it up originally to get it ready for tearing apart and retro brighting, when I noticed something really, really disgusting when I was cleaning it. Yeah, it was basically wiping right off. There's a huge contrast on this. After taking a few still shots and some video of it for a shorts, I decided to get right back into cleaning the rest of it because, yeah, I couldn't stand it. This was awful. And you can see it was just literally melting off with some simple green. I actually opted not to retro bright it because it didn't need it. Which, like I said before with the computer, is just almost more disgusting that it was just grime. After cleaning the cables and getting them looking nice and pretty, this monitor was basically fully done. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the monitor fully restored. It's fully dried off and looking brand freaking new. There's still some little touch-ups I got to do with some vents, but it looks way better than it did, and it's actually even more disgusting that it wasn't yellow, that it was all dirt and grime. Same with the 1000HX here. It cleaned up phenomenally well. The keys are still outside retro brighting. They've been out there for, I think, 2 days now. I'm cutting it really close for Septandy, so I probably need to just pull them, let them dry, and then get it put back together for the after shot for this video. But anyway, no procrastinating anymore. Let's just power it on here and see if it boots. See if I have a working Tandy 1000HX after all this. Hey, so I have the Tandy 1000HX hooked up to the CM5 here. It's plugged in the power. I can't test any floppies. Realistically, I can maybe boot one, but I won't be able to access anything until I get the keys back on. So that's just a power on, see if it works. Memory size 640. Ooh. And look at this. It's just working. Run personal deskmate, system time, view program drive A, view drive B. MS-DOS 2.11 in ROM. Yes, this does not. So yeah, this thing just boots directly into DOS 2.11. I'm sorry. And that was a major selling point for the Tandy 1000HX here, was that you didn't have to boot into DOS first to run all your programs. And what I mean by that is a lot of PC clones, that's why you had dual floppy drives, was you put in your DOS boot disk into drive A, your program into drive B, unless it was a PC booter game, and then you had to put into drive A. But anyway, or in single drive systems like this, you had to put in your boot disk, let it boot, pull it out, put in your other program disk. But with the Tandy 1000HX here, major sales point was that you didn't have to do that. You could just literally turn it on, it'd be booted into DOS in like 5 seconds, and then you put in whatever game or program disk you wanted. So yeah, this is actually really cool, really fun. I'm going to see if I can put in a floppy, and then I'm going to try and finagle it to go to drive A and see if I can get it to read it, because I don't see if the floppy drive works now. Okay, and we have the some software that came with all this. It's all copies. I'm going to see if I can use the Grease Weasel at some point to make some for it, but we have MS-DOS, blank, Personal Deskmate 2. Okay, so I'm going to put this into floppy drive. So I'm going to use one of the stocks from the keys taken off. I took them off wrong. I'll explain that in the voiceover. View programs. Hey, there we go. And look at that, it says desk. So put it into F1 and see if we can get it to boot Deskmate. Uh-oh, we have an error. That could be the floppy. Let's just try another one. Let's try. Trying to figure out which keys enter here. I'm not. Let's just reboot it. Okay. Alright, so now we'll just do our program. Hey, look at that! Okay, so we do have some personal information on here, but yeah, we have Tandy Deskmate. The floppy drive works. The keyboard's working. This thing just works. I gotta get the keys out. We have some documents here, resume, it's like church, budget, wedding. Got some music programs on here. We got some programs. Yeah, this is actually really freaking cool. This is awesome. All right. Sweet. Okay, so the keys are done drying, and yeah, a lot of the keys turned out really good. The spacebar here turned out great, but as you can kind of see, some of the keys still have a little bit of yellowing, but I'm running out of sunlight time. These have been out for about 2 or 3 days, and they're not bad. They're better than they were. If anything, I'll try and re-retrowrite the keys next summer or something. But running out of time for this video, so we're just gonna get them put back on and fully test out this computer. There we go. One fully put back together, Tandy 1000HX. I'm not super happy with the keys. They look a lot better, but you can definitely tell they're still a little yellow, especially in person. But yeah, they were so badly yellowed, I didn't realize that the function keys up here, backspace, enter, some of the function keys, these are supposed to be gray. That's how yellow they were, and you can kind of see that. Yeah, they're kind of a gray, and then these are supposed to be white. You can kind of see that. So yeah, I'm not like I said, I'm not super happy with the retro bright, but this has been going on for like 3 days. I just don't have the sun and the heat like I did during the summer. I wish I would have got to this sooner, but yeah, next summer I'll retro bright this and take a way after shot. So let's try and play some games, or at least the few games I have on floppy. So yeah, here's the only games I have on physical floppy for 720K. I need to make some more with the Grease Weasel. And I'm not showing the screen right now because it is flashing and I don't want a seizure warning. So we're going to boot it up, put it on floppy, and see what happens. All right, just try. I have two versions of SimCity. Let's try the oldest one, 1.02. Oh, there we go. Let's see if it runs SimCity. See what it looks in Tandy. Oh, and crap. Let's try 1.07. I think I had problems with this before. The keyboard's working. Uh-oh. Oh no, I have two. I have two keys backwards. Oh no, I have I and O screwed up. Oh no, that's gonna screw me up. Let's just try. Oh, oops. Need to remember that. U is now I until I fix this. This might not work because I think SimCity requires a 2d6. Okay, so SimCities don't work. 1.02 doesn't want to. I think there's something wrong with the floppy itself, but I made it. And yeah, I've had issues with this one working on anything that's not a 2d6 or higher. So I'm going to cop out and use Planet X3 here. Just because I want to see how Tandy graphics and sound looks. And because this is the only... Uh-oh. Did my drive suddenly quit working? Uh-oh. Okay, so the floppy drive seems to be a little testy right now. It did finally read. It's just being sporadic. Okay, now... okay, so I know what the CGA 4-color and composite looks like because I've tested that before on my on the PCAT, and I know what Hercules. I think I know what Hercules looks like. I think I've tested that on my XT clone. So I finally am going to see what Tandy PC Junior looks like for Choose Audio's PC speaker, AdLib, OPL2 LT, and TND LPT, which is the those are projects I'll probably never ever play with. Because they're out of my budget right now. But number 2, Tandy PC Junior. How is this going to look and sound? That looks cool. Ooh, that sounds good too. Start game. This looks so good. Okay, and as you can see, the restoration of this Tandy 1000 HX ended up beautifully. It looks fantastic. It runs fairly well. There's some sporadicness with the floppy drive. Again, I couldn't service it. I couldn't really take it apart with that one broken screw. That's going to have to be something I'm going to have to do in my off time between videos and that kind of stuff. Because I really want to service that drive because it is really sporadic. But as you can see, it is reading now. I am just over the moon and thrilled that this thing turned out so freaking well. This thing cleaned up really nice. I was actually surprised that it wasn't all that yellowed. It looked yellowed and kind of discolored, but with just a simple green and some elbow grease with a toothbrush, it cleaned up and it brightened up a lot. Yes, the keys were yellowed, like very yellowed, and they're still a little bit yellow in person. Unfortunately, I just ran out of time with retro brighting to get this, hopefully try and get this video out. That's going to be something, again, next spring or next summer. I'll fully retro bright the keys, leave them outside for, a couple days in the summer heat and get them nice and bright white. The whole surprising thing was the monitor here, that it cleaned up so well. If you guys saw the Tandy pickup where I got this monitor and then subsequent other videos with this monitor, this thing was a nasty, gross shade of basically brown. And I was just so sure this thing was going to be yellowed. In fact, I was just clean it up so that I could retro bright it and try to, but the grime just melted off, which is just equally as disgusting. I would have preferred it actually being yellowed because it doesn't smell like cigarette smoke, and it still doesn't. So I'm not sure what that brown was. It was just nasty. But regardless of that, this thing works just fine, especially for the one game I was able to get it to run. Like I mentioned, I don't have a lot of software on 720K floppies, and also I just don't have a lot of physical games on 5 1/4 720K floppies, because this is not high density, this is double density. So that's another reason why I wanted to get a grease weasel, so it'd be easier to write double density discs. That's going to be a future thing, because most of the games I have that are Tandy compatible, that I really want to try on this thing, because now I have a proper real Tandy. The Tandy RLX that I have is technically a Tandy, yes, but it uses VGA graphics and its compatibility with that kind of stuff. But this is a true blue full Tandy 1000, the full 3-voice sound chip and the 16-color CGA enhanced graphics, which are just outstanding. It looks really pretty with Planet X3. But yeah, most of the other games I have that are Tandy compatible are in a folder for emulators, like the CF to XT adapter, which I do not have for this device. The only one I had that would fit in here, even if it worked, I would still need to get an adapter to go from that weird pin header to standard ISO, which unfortunately I do not have. They are available on Tandy. I just need to eventually pick one up, and a couple more XT to IDE adapters, because that's one thing I want to do to this, because there's really not a good way to get storage on here besides floppies. And I want to put a hard drive solution in this so I can run a lot more Tandy games, because just the one game I ran looks and sounds amazing. In fact, Planet X3 is one of the few games I have where I can test basically every type of video and sound output because of David Murray's amazing programming. But yeah, with all of that being said, again, this thing turned out phenomenally well, and I can't wait to play this thing more in the future. I'm going to be getting it set up in the computer room next to the IBM PCs and stuff. I do want to get a kind of shelf hutch thing to put the monitor on top of here so that it's not resting on top of the fragile 40-year-old plus plastics. And then also I'll have space to put the 5 1/4 drive, which I did not get to in this video. I wanted to, between the retro writing taking forever for this and the surprise that was this and me running out of time for Septandy. Unfortunately, I did not have time to get to that. That will be in a separate video, but I will be testing that out here very, very soon. With all that said, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed this restoration of the Tandy 1000HX. If you've ever used one of these machines or its brother machine, the 1000EX, put down in the comments. I love hearing about personal anecdotes when it comes to these vintage machines. If you've ever used a CM5, have any personal information, usage of any of these, if you know some amazing have to try Tandy specific games that would really showcase what this thing's capable of in terms of graphics and sound, put them down in the comments, and if I can find a way to, I will be putting them on floppy so I can test this thing out properly. I am still going to try and service that drive as best I can. I have a cleaning floppy that I'm going to put in it and just see if I can get that to be more reliable. And then also, because this thing is now fully working, you're going to be seeing this thing here in an upcoming video where I'm doing some BBS fun, because I kind of want to see how this thing's going to run with BBS, because the box does say add a modem and networking, and why not? I think it'd be pretty fun to try this, because it does have a serial port. So be on the lookout for that and some other future videos coming up. With that, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.